Deciding when to take your CPP and your OAS is one of the most complicated and stress-inducing decisions that retirees have to make. What if I told you that there were a few simple questions and some basic knowledge that could greatly help you make the right decision to set yourself up and your family all the way into retirement? In this video, we're going to break down the main factors in deciding whether or not to take your CPP and your OAS early or late, and what that looks like for you and for your family. I'm going to give you practical strategies to implement so that you are making the right decision today. First off, before making any decisions, I would always ask any one of my clients 3 important questions. The first one, are you still working? The second one, do you have an RSP or a LIF or a LIRA? Third one, do you have pension plan income or rental property income or other income? These questions are going to help determine whether or not you should take it early or whether or not you should defer your CPP and your OAS. Now, what is the CPP? The CPP is Canada's pension plan. It's income that is earned by you every single year of your working life. You contribute either a portion or a maximum to the CPP. If you've made more than $3,500, you've contributed at some level to the CPP this year. And if you've made more than 70 grand, you've contributed the max to the CPP this year. We give roughly 5.9% of our salary every single year to the CPP. In exchange for that, we get a payout in retirement. Now, the CPP is earned, it is yours, it cannot be taken away. It's income that you've earned, it's your pension. The OAS, short for old age security, on the other hand, can be taken away. It's a supplementary benefit. If you made more than $91,000 last year, your OAS will start to get clawed back. And if you made more than $150,000 roughly, you've completely lost your OAS. If you're in the wealthy portion of Canadians that make more than $150,000 of personal income in retirement, you do not get the benefit of old age security. You're secure, I guess they're arguing, so you're not going to get your benefit. And if you make anywhere between 90 and 150, it's linear. So you get some clawed back at 90, you get all clawed back at 150, and in between it's linear. So those are 2 benefits that Canadians get in retirement. Now, the CPP typically and the OAS typically start at age 65. You can take the CPP as early as 60, and you could defer it as late as 70. If you take your CPP early, the payments are reduced by 0.6% per month or 7.2% per year. So if you take it at age 60 instead of at age 65, it's a 36% reduction in payments for the rest of your life. That's a pretty steep drop off. And if you defer your CPP, so if you wait till you're 70, after 65, you get 0.7% for every month, which is 8.4% per year, otherwise known as 42%. If you wait the full 5 years, you get 42% more income every year for the rest of your life. That's a significant amount. OAS, on the other hand, you cannot take it early. The earliest you can get it is 65. Canadians qualify for it at 65. The OAS, every month you wait, you get 0.6% extra. It could be 7.2% per year, or a maximum of 36% increase in payments if you wait till age 70 to take your old age security. So first, I ask you if you're still working. If you are working full-time, and you do not need the extra income, please do not draw on your CPP early. It's a mistake I see Canadians make. It's a double whammy because 1, you're going to get less income by taking it early, right? So you're getting less for the rest of your life. But 2, you're already earning money. So the CPP gets thrown on top of that as income, meaning it'll be taxed at the highest marginal tax rate, which means you're going to be left with very little after tax. So do not take the CPP if you don't need the income whatsoever, and especially if you're working. If you're working, typically you should be able to make ends meet, and therefore you should be able to defer your CPP. Now, obviously, if there's an income shortage or there's a special needs or something else, shortened life expectancy, obviously take your CPP, but in general situations where you're employed, you're earning a similar salary to the prior year and you don't need the cash flow, do not take your CPP early. And if you're somewhere in between, maybe you're retired and you're working part-time, then it becomes more of a gray area. So you might be in a situation where you need the income and you need to draw down a little bit more. If you're short on cash flow, obviously draw down, but if not, if you can defer, typically you should defer. Second question I ask you is, do you have an RSP or a RIF or a LIRA or a LIF? Any one of those registered accounts? Because if you do, in some situations, and you retire early, in some situations, it could make sense for you to draw down on those registered accounts to fund your lifestyle and to defer your CPP, your OAS further down the line so that you get more income after that. The math here, the logic is that by drawing down on your LIRA and your LIF, you're getting a higher return on your CPP and your OAS investments than you could get on those accounts. Now, depending how they're invested, depending what your tax rate is, that might not be the case, but that's something that a full financial plan with a team like us, with a certified financial planner, that's something that we could discover for you and we could recommend. You can go to www.speaktorob.com to book your no obligation consultation if you'd like to chat about that specifically. Next, I asked you, do you have other income? Whether that's pension income, rental properties, or maybe you got a business on the side that pays dividends. So that other income forms a part of what you're declaring to CRA every single year as income. So if that number is high and you don't need the cash flow, again, you should consider deferring. That other income is significant, whether it's rentals or dividends from a corporation. Regardless, if there's money coming in, you should consider deferring. Now, when should you not defer? You should not defer, one, if you need the cash flow, if you're not able to make ends meet, if you can't pay the bills, if you need it to buy groceries, take the CPP. Two, if you have a shortened life expectancy, if for whatever reason something's happened to you and you know that you have a shortened life expectancy, you should take your CPP as early as you possibly can, and you should take your OAS right at 65. Generally, the payback period time for a deferral on the RSP is something like 12 to 14 years. If you think you'll live longer than that, you're much better off deferring. If you think you have a shorter life expectancy than that, you're better off taking early. Another reason you might take CPP early is if you have perhaps some lifestyle goals, some travel expenses that you want to take. So you're not needing the cash today, but you're anticipating significantly higher expenses in the next few years. You would take your CPP early so that you have that income and you're not borrowing to do those travels. You're accepting a lower sum of money down the line, but upfront you're getting more money so that you can afford to travel while you're young and healthy. Some strategies that can be used to maximize the benefits. One, this is perhaps the most obvious one. If you're not sure if you have enough funds to retire, one strategy is to keep working. Every year that you defer, you're not drawing down from a pot, but you're adding to a pot, right? So if you're not drawing down from your CPP and your retirement income, your RSPs, if you're not drawing down, that means that money is growing, one, and two, you're adding to the pot every year. By keeping the foot on the gas and by working another year or two or three, you're increasing your nest. You're deferring your CPP, which will give you more funds in retirement, and your OAS should allow you a much more flexible retirement. Two is, and I talked about this earlier, perhaps liquidating your LIRA or your RIFs a little earlier if the math works out for you, and then converting those to income producing pensions and then using increased CPP OAS amount to fund your retirement lifestyles in your 70s. Three is a balanced approach, right? So if you're somewhere in between that, you could draw down, you could defer, you could do some of both, and that's a strategy we often see with our clients. So to summarize here, the best time to take your CPP and your OAS depends on your personal situation. And you can't just do back of the napkin here. I strongly advise a full comprehensive wealth and estate plan or a retirement plan for you to figure out what your needs are. This isn't a simple decision. This is the kind of stuff we do for clients. If you'd like to discuss what this plan could look like, go to speaktorob.com. We'd love to book a no obligation consultation. This is what we do. Check out our Google reviews. We don't disappoint. The situation will depend on your unique needs and your unique situation. But largely, if you are still working and you still have income and you don't need the funds for cash flow or to pay down the bills, you should be deferring as much as possible, unless, of course, you have a reduced life expectancy or an immediate need for that capital. Deferring provides you so much more income for so much longer. If you're able to do it, by all means do it. But if you need the income, do it now. You're not going to be able to travel forever, right? So spend that money, enjoy life while we all can. Thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I will see you in the next video.